Shilo, come here. Come here, boy. Hey guys, what's going on? Mark here. I am with Shilo with Royal Dogo USA. Shilo is only 7 months. He is 88 pounds. He's on his hind legs and I'm sitting in a chair, but as you can see, he's a big boy. He is, come here, buddy. He is of the Las Palmas and De La Cocha bloodline and an amazing friend, family companion, animal. He's a good boy. So I am here to talk about all the things you need to know about a dogo from 8 weeks up to 7 months. He turned 7 months yesterday, and he's a sleepy boy. So I'm gonna let him go do his thing while I talk to you. So when I first discovered the Dogo Argentino, it was actually from I saw one on a movie or a sitcom or something, and I was like, wow, that's an amazing animal. Honestly, I just thought it was a really big pit bull, but just something about it. It had the pit bull characteristics or looks, but it just didn't. I've owned 2 pit bulls in my lifetime, and I knew it wasn't a pit bull, but it just reminded me. It was similar to a pit bull, but I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen one. And then it was probably 7, 8 months later, I saw a documentary, I think it was on Animal Planet, that they had done about the Dogo Argentino. And you can go to YouTube and find that, and it tells you good information about the breed. And I was just fascinated by it. I was like, man, it's, absolutely beautiful. The temperament, this dog is just so chill and relaxed. I'll get the camera and put it where he's at. I'll show you, as you can see. He's just chilling on his bed. And that is typical Dogo Argentino character and energy level until it's playtime. Playtime would be with another dog. He has a sister that's a 5-month-old Aussie Doodle. She's about 1/20th his size. He's 88 pounds. She's maybe 10 or 12 pounds. And they play and wrestle and fight, and they'll go, they'll carry on for an hour at a time, just nonstop jumping all over the house. You'll hear people say that a dogo is like a bull in a china cabinet in your house, and they are. He's very big, he's very powerful, and he's very klutzy at this stage. So he just runs, it's almost like he gallops all over the house. You'll see in my other videos, I have videos of these 2 dogs, roughhousing and cutting up and carrying on, and they'll bump into the Christmas tree and the whole Christmas tree will fall over, and he's just kind of like, doo-doo, But my whole thing was I had so many questions because I have a 5-year-old little girl and a family, and I wanted a dog that was great for the family. I don't hunt. Dogo Argentinos are notorious for being amazing hunters. They were actually bred, genetically engineered to hunt, but they were also genetically engineered to be a great family dog. So I don't hunt. Could my dogo hunt? I would think he could and could do it very well. He has a very high prey drive. Just at 3 months old, walking him down the green belt outside my neighborhood or on the mountain bike trails, he would pull incredibly hard whenever we saw a rabbit or a squirrel. I mean, it sounds silly, but even a frog or a cricket, they pull tremendously to get toward that animal or whatnot, whether it be because they're wanting to kill it in a prey drive, a hunt drive, or whether it be because he's just curious. He hasn't killed anything yet, and I really don't want him to. But they are bred, they were designed to be hunters of puma and wild boar, and they're very good at that. Now, whether he would go out and immediately initiate a hunt or not, I don't know. Like I said, I don't hunt or have any interest in hunting or hunting him. But I would think that because it's genetically engineered into them, that he could be taught very easily and could be a very good hunter because he's a very powerful and alert animal when he needs to be. I was wanting a dog that was a good family pet, but would also be a beautiful dog that had low shedding. People say dogos don't shed. That is not true at all. They definitely do shed. Do they shed like a Labrador or another type of breed that sheds tremendously? No, but they do shed. They say they bred the scent out of them, the dog smell. That is almost true. I would say about 85, 90% of the smell is out of him. I bathe him once a week. I even put a little cologne on him. He always smells good. But if he goes outside for an hour, hour and a half, like any dog, and he's in the grass or whatnot, he'll come in and he'll smell like outside. But as far as an actual dog odor, like 1/10 of another dog I have, Thumper, which is we believe, a mutt crossbreed between a Labrador and a Dachshund, actually. So he sheds tremendously. He smells way worse than Shilo. Shilo has a very low odor, very low shed compared to him. Now compared to the Aussie Doodle we have, Shilo sheds, obviously more than the Aussie Doodle because she has poodle in them. They shed almost zero. Smell-wise, they're about the same. Very, very low dog odor. So we wanted a family pet, but I also wanted a dog that would grow up and be big enough and, intimidating enough looking that someone would think twice before jumping over my backyard fence or breaking into my home. The Dogo Argentino is absolutely going to be that guy. I think and I expect that, around 18 months of age, he will naturally become super territorial and protective of our property. I mean, he already kind of is. If someone knocks at the door, he jumps up. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. He'll go from sleeping over there and just being lazy to just instant ears up, chest out, looking up, being alert, wanting to know, who's at the door, who's the intruder on his territory. And he's only 7 months old. So I think naturally that the hunting would be a natural response for any Dogo Argentino. Now, will some hunt better than others? Will some be more prey driven than others? Absolutely. That's just like, a human. There's men that are more aggressive, men that are more docile, men that are more athletic, men that aren't. So same thing with an animal. So, but naturally, I think that prey drive and that instinct to hunt will be there with any real pure Dogo Argentino. The scent, the odor is very low with these dogs. That's true. The shedding is kind of in the middle. They absolutely do shed. Don't let anybody tell you they don't, but they don't shed horribly bad. He does not bark a lot. In fact, he doesn't bark at all, period, unless there's somebody at the door or on the other side of our wood fence. We have a big backyard. I'll let him out to play, let him out to go to the bathroom. If there's somebody on the other side of the fence, he will bark, or if there's an intruder, somewhere like, a UPS guy delivering a package, he knocks on the door, he will bark. Other than that, there's zero barking. They're not yappy dogs at all. Very, very clingy and loyal. I am the dominant male of the family unit, I guess you would say. The top of the hierarchy for our family unit. He recognizes that very well, and he clings to me and follows me everywhere. I mean, right now he's in here sleeping beside me. If I go to my office, he'll lay at my feet. If I'm taking a shower or shaving my face, he's laying right behind me. He wants to sleep with me. If I'm on a couch, he wants to crawl up on the couch. The whole thing of owning a Dogo and thinking that you'll never have him on the couch, yeah, right, that'll last for about a week. And then you'll want them on the couch because they're just big, soft. They're incredibly soft, maybe because, they're genetics, but also because I bathe him once a week. His fur and skin around his neck and his head and his ears is almost like velvet. But very clingy dogs, very loyal. He's very good with my 5-year-old daughter. She adores him. You'll see videos of her and him playing and her hugging up all over him. But he definitely follows around the alpha male, which would be me of the family unit. Now, I'm also the one who hand feeds him. Every day I feed him, and I try to feed him by hand a lot, and I feed him a lot of, in between snacks. You'll have another video that shows what I feed my dog. I feed him about 50% raw, 50% kibble. I feed him twice a day with, 4 or 5 little snacks in between. These dogs absolutely do need to be exercised. They're not hyper dogs, at least mine is not at all. Totally not hyper. Again, I'll show you what he's doing right now. And that's what he's doing about, 20 hours of the day. But again, like Jekyll and Hyde, he'll go from that to instant alert. Or if it's playtime, once he's up and he's playing, he's all over the place, jumping around and just, being funny. He's silly. We love it. They play very rough. You would think they were fighting another dog when they're playing, and they're not. They're just playing. So, exercise, we live on a green belt. Right outside my front door, there is a green belt that goes for miles into the mountain bike trails. Twice a day at minimal, I walk him typically for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. I take advantage of every single dog we see and human. I like for him to have as much socialization and interaction with other humans and dogs as possible. Because he's very intimidating and very large, and he pulls and he looks very aggressive, although I've never seen an ounce of aggression out of him thus far. Keep in mind, he is only 7 months. That could change around the 12 to 18 month mark. He could start getting dog aggressive toward other males. It's even likely that could happen. But as of right now, I've seen zero aggression. Even when other dogs are aggressive to him, he just bows up his chest, puts his ears back, and kind of like, gets back and out of the way and stares at him. Never has he shown any aggression toward another dog. But anytime we walk up to a person with a dog, I always ask permission. First thing I say is, hey, is your dog aggressive? If they say no, I'm like, can they play? Yes, okay, cool. I let Shilo walk up and they play, and he's hilarious. People love him. People go crazy over these dogs, man. I mean, I need to make a business card that literally I give to people when they ask what kind of dog is that tells you short story, how they made the Dogo and what he is. Because everywhere you go, people, what is that dog? He's gorgeous. He's awesome. And then whenever they see his personality and his character traits, he's super, playful and friendly and calm. It's like a calm, playful, he'll play rough when he's playing, but when he's getting to know you and you're getting introduced to him, he puts his ears back, he gets low with his head, very almost submissive. He's just very kind for an animal. But anyway, yeah, I always ask permission. I don't just let my Dogo Argentino just boom, bombard and walk up on a human or a dog. I always ask permission. 9 out of 10 times people are receptive to it. The ones that aren't, they're just not. They don't like dogs, or maybe their dog is aggressive and I don't want Shilo. I might let him go nose to meet the dog if the dog's slightly aggressive. But the minute the dog shows aggression, I pull Shilo back and we move on. I don't want him picking up those traits, and I don't want him to get bit. So exercise is vital. If you live in an apartment, I think you can absolutely have a Dogo. As long as you commit to getting that dog outside for at least an hour a day. And what it's done with me is it's really helped me get exercise. If I'm super busy, I'm a full-time realtor, so there's times I'm working 12 hours a day, I'm all over the place, but I know, okay, I have to stop for 20 minutes to walk my dog. Well, he's really walking me. I'm getting exercise that I may not would have got, previously. So you got to exercise the dog twice a day. You got to socialize the dog every chance you get. I mean, if I see a dog outside and I'm not even planning on walking him, I will go get him and I will take him outside and walk up to the person. Hey, what's up? Introduce myself, very friendly. Is your dog friendly? Can they meet? So I take advantage of that. I do take him to dog parks sometimes. I don't know if I will take him as much when he's a full-grown male. I mean, he's going to be huge and extremely powerful. Things happen, right? It's not always your fault or your dog's fault. But if another dog, attacks him, he's going to defend himself. And when a Dogo defends himself, it's probably going to turn out bad for the other dog. So I want to avoid that at all costs. Again, my dog is only 7 months. I've seen zero aggression from him thus far, but that doesn't mean that he will not get more aggressive or territorial, specifically toward other large male dogs. I'm kind of anticipating that. And it's all about the owner. I will keep him away from other male dogs at every chance I can. If at all, I'll have him leashed and, with a nice strong collar and leash, and I can pull him back and maintain him. They're very, very powerful dogs. I've had a lot of luck with the prong choke collar. Some people are anti-prong choke collars. It's the owner, the user, not the dog, or the collar to blame. So, if you put a dog around a tree and he's barking and pulling all day and he has a prong choke collar, he's going to tear himself up. If you yank him super hard over and over, with the prong choke collar, there's a way to use it. And the way I do it is I just do a pop when he starts pulling. No. Or, heel, and I'll pull it back a little bit. You'll see other videos I'll post where Shilo on the green belt outside with all the smells and distractions. I've got him, I had him doing this at 4 months old. Sit, stay, and I will unleash him and I will walk back. I think the longest I've done it was like 85 yards. And then I'll tell him come and he'll come. I'll post those videos. So that's amazing for a male, teenage dog, right? Not even 7 months old at this time. I think the last one I did with, he was like 5 months old. He sat, he stayed. I walked back on the green belt, 85 yards and told him to come, and he came. So they're very smart dogs. They're elusive. They're kind of, they appear kind of because they're just he's so goofy and silly when he plays because he's klutzy. So when he runs, you'll see in the videos, it's like his front arms are like galloping and he's very klutzy. But then next thing you know, he'll jump just straight in the air and his head's almost level with mine. So he's very strong and athletic. He's just klutzy. That too will probably change around 18 to 24 months. But I highly recommend a Dogo Argentino if you have the time, the finances, the energy, and the heart for the dog. One thing I'll tell you, they do take a lot of patience. They're very stubborn. I haven't seen anybody say they're not stubborn, but also I think they have a small bladder. I heard another guy in a video talk about them having a small bladder, and I completely agree with him. I haven't had these problems in probably the last month. Since about the 6 month mark, he can hold it pretty well. But there was times that, I would walk him, he'd come in, drink some water, and literally, 45 minutes later, he's over there peeing on the ground in the kitchen. I'm like, oh my God. I think dogos innately have a small bladder, and it's probably something to do with their gene pool. But beautiful dog. I'm taking my time, just enjoying this life we have with him. My wife and daughter love this dog. It's been great for our family. My other dogs love him. He loves them. They play together awesome. We've had no issues with aggression toward any human or animal. We're going to ride it out for another probably 3 to 6 months, and then probably be looking to get a really beautiful female that we can actually create our own Royal Dogo USA bloodline with. But I'm being very picky about the female like I was with him. I was going to import a male out of Russia originally, and I ended up finding one in Texas, which was great, that I liked a ton, which is Shilo, love him to death. But very, very picky about the dog that I have and the dog that I'm going to have in the future to create my bloodline with. I want, more than anything, I want character. I want a great family dog. I don't want an aggressive, overly aggressive or unfriendly dog to family members. And there's going to be in every bloodline. I don't care what anybody says. People rant and rave about all the good things. There's bad things about every bloodline too. Secondly, I want the look that Shilo has. I like the longer snout with the big head. I don't like the more boxer looking shorter snout. I don't like the big bully wrinkly head with the wrinkly jaws. These dogs don't hardly drool at all. I've never seen a flea on him. Of course, I'm relentless about keeping him clean. So I don't want, we grew up raising mastiffs and they have the big wrinkly and they drool everywhere. I don't like that look, and I don't like the drool everywhere. I like his size. He's large, so I want a female to carry on that same look, that same genetic code that gives them, good temperament. But at the same time, I want them to be alert when they need to be. And so, I can't talk about hunting and things like that because I don't do that. So I don't know, like, for example, if my bloodline that I'm creating would be, beneficial for a hunter. I would think so. I would think you could get just about any Dogo Argentino that's a real pure Dogo Argentino, and it could be trained to be an amazing hunter. But I'm looking more for the temperament, the family, the family code that I'm looking for with my dogs, to be great with kids and with the family, but to also be loyal and protective in that era. I'm not doing any protection training. To me, protection training can be a double-edged sword. These dogs, like I said earlier, when they hit maturity, which, anywhere between 18 and 36 months, they should naturally be protective, and they are. He is already at 7 months to an extent. And their appearance and their air when you're around them is so intimidating when they're full grown. If you've ever been around a full grown, good looking, large male Dogo Argentino, you are not about to make a mistake. You're not about to break in that house. You're not about to do anything you shouldn't do to the owner of that dog, because believe me, that dog is very intimidating. When I saw Shiloh's daddy, I was like, whoa, I didn't even want to walk up to the car. But he was a sweetheart, but his head was massive and he was just so intimidating. But anyway, all in all, I'm sure I'm leaving off tons of things. There's so much to talk about with these dogs. But if you have the energy, if you have the stamina and energy, the income, I spend about $250 a month feeding this dog. I feed him half raw, half kibble, and lots of treats. If you have the yard, or if you have, I guess I should say, if you live in an apartment, that's fine. If you can commit at least an hour a day of getting this dog outside and letting it exercise and walk and sniff and smell and meet other dogs and meet other humans, you're good. Let's see what else. Patience. You need patience, because potty training this dog takes a little bit longer than other dogs I've owned. It's not that they're dumb. They're very smart. They're just stubborn, and I think they have small bladders. But aside from that, I would say by far best dog I've ever owned, by far. I've had pit bulls, I've had poodles, I've had mastiffs, and I've had mutts, and no dog I've ever had compares to my Dogo Argentino. And I'm not just saying that because he's my dog. This is the truth. I have 2 other dogs right now and love them to death, but as a whole, you can't compare the package that you get out of the Dogo Argentino to any other dog, in my opinion. Yeah, aside from that, find you a breeder that is a legit breeder. I'd highly recommend getting papers on your dog. That way you can look back at the family lineage. I look back at the family lineage on the UKC with Shilo, and it went back 485 dogs, 485 puppies and that's just going back 4 generations that have been put out between the different bloodlines that this dog is part of, De La Cocha and Las Palmas. But anyway, I hope this helps you if you're trying to make a decision if you're going to get a Dogo or not. And if you got any questions, leave a comment or whatnot, and I'll do my best to answer it legitimately. Bye-bye.